warm welcome to yet another episode of Campus Pulse, and this time around we are going to start by first introducing our guest Raghav Chadda of the Aam Aadmi Party, Ashish Sood of the BJP, and we have our expert panelist Vimalendu Jha. He is an environmentalist. Thank you for the applause and thank you for your participation. The odd-even plan is what we're discussing today. It's the second phase in Delhi, and we have our panelists to tell us really how much it's working, if it's working at all. Remember, there are critics of the odd-even plan and there are supporters as well. We'll try and find out how much the odd-even plan has really worked, not just in terms of traffic congestion, but also why it was originally conceived. To bring down pollution levels. Raghav Chadda, let me ask you first of all, the response as I go along by civilians in Delhi has been rather good. But the criticism is, apart from making traffic less congested, odd even hasn't really worked. How would you react to that?
Well, first of all, we must understand why odd even was introduced. There was a time when the judiciary was passing strictures after strictures. The High Court was terming Delhi as a gas chamber, and these were desperate times calling for desperate measures. Therefore, the government came up with an innovative idea called the odd even scheme. In the first phase, the odd even scheme was phenomenally successful. There was a successful byproduct, which was in terms of reducing congestion. And in terms of, as far as pollution is concerned, various reports from government agencies like DPCC and other organizations like CSC said that there was a drastic fall in pollution, particularly PM 2.5. That's one. As far as the phase 2 is concerned, in the last 4-5 days of odd even, we have seen that congestion has substantially reduced, and the reports that are emerging from the data that is being supplied by the DPCC, that is the Delhi Pollution Control Committee, also is showing a very encouraging trend on more than 60 locations out of 74 locations where all these instruments were installed. We have seen that the PM 2.5 has reduced and there is a nice trend emerging.
Ashish Sood, there are other criticisms as well, that it is inconvenient to Delhi, it's unfair to people. Why not include the two-wheelers and bikes as well? Also political reasons why Mr. Kejriwal and the Aam Aadmi Party is doing it, because they have a constituency to cater to. There are others as well. In fact, Vijay Goyal the other day refused to come in an odd numbered car. Gopal Rai had to go there. He didn't respond. Ultimately, Mr. Vijay Goyal had to be challan. So why this resistance as far as BJP is concerned?
Look, at the very outset, everybody in Delhi, even we, want Delhi to be clean. We want to breathe in the clean air. But what is this idea? What this was introduced? This was introduced to reduce the pollution levels. Pollutions in Delhi have not reduced. This is a false statement that they are reducing. In the last phase also and this phase also, there are numerous reports, not only reports by the experts, reports by the newspapers, whom the present government is feeding with lot of advertisements. Even they are publishing such reports that the levels have not.
I want to go to Mr. Vimalendu Jha first. Before I come back to you, I know you have a point right now, but Vimal, going strictly by the Delhi experiment, and we've seen experiments like odd even all over the world. Some have been successful, some have not been too successful. Would you say Delhi needed odd even when it came?
See, we need to understand that there was something to be done about it, because for several decades we've actually seen that public ecology, public health has had no relevance, no significance, no political will at all. So it's not something that suddenly Delhi woke up to the air quality index that we actually woke up to in the month of December. That too, a US embassy report told us that, hey, listen, your air has gone bad. So the fact that there's some kind of a movement, some kind of attraction, some kind of a conversation that is actually happening in public domain or within the political class, that's a very, very important thing to happen. But at the same time, when we're looking at this, are we looking at who is supposed to gain the most? At the end of the day, these moves are primarily to curb air pollution. And therefore, and of course, one of the things can be odd and even. And therefore, I want to congratulate Aam Aadmi Party for doing that. But at the same time, with the same vigor and passion that we're actually looking at propagating odd and even, and I also want to compliment the public. At the end of the day, absolutely, odd and even has been successful despite the government.
Would you say that odd even has been successful? Would you say that?
No, see, at the end of the day, it's common sense. If the number of cars from 8, if it comes to 5 or 6 or even 7 for that matter, if there's 10% decrease in the number of vehicles, there will be positive impact on our environment. So there's no logic. There's no logic on that. But at the same time, what I'm saying is that at the end of the day, when our main purpose is not to really look at, and as I said, this would have actually worked. Any political party would have announced odd and even, it would have actually worked, or it would have actually got the same kind of traction. Now, from the government agencies, am I only looking at what do you solicit from the public? Because public is supporting you. For last 4 months, we're actually looking at that public actually was waiting for it, is contributing to the entire move. But what about the other things? Why other things are taking so much time? Because at the end of the day, I do not have luxury of so much time. I only have those many number of months, number of years to live, and I cannot wait for your government to bring in another set of 1,000 buses maybe next year. So, and at the same time, preparation. That is, when we woke up to that number, Raghav, in December, as government agency, the same DPCC that you're swearing by right now, why did DPCC not provide that kind of a document, or the fact that, you know, in December we'll actually have those numbers? So we are also talking about governance. Of course, it's not your fault, as in you didn't establish DPCC. It's you've actually inherited such institutions.
Okay, let me just jump in here.
Last point. Unless and until odd and even, which is basically is a statement, commentary on public sentiment and public's desire to really have a clean air, is complemented by other very, very strict institutional moves, and soon enough, because we're talking about public emergency. We're not talking about a 5-year plan or a 10-year plan. We're not talking about an ism. We're talking about how 10,000 people are dying every year in city of Delhi because of bad air, and therefore it needs desperate measures but desperate actions.
So from whatever I could hear Vimal say, he said that, and he's an expert, he's an environmentalist, he's worked for the Yamuna as well. Mr. Sood, the fact is that something had to be done about Delhi's air. Now, if some Aam Aadmi party is doing it, happens to be a party in political power right now in Delhi, why the resistance then again?
No,
and somebody had to do it. Somebody had to do it. At least we're talking about it right
outset, we all are here, we all support the clean, a movement for the clean environment in Delhi. But this is not, nothing substantial is being achieved out of it. Only inconvenience is created to the public. What administrative efforts have they taken? What Raghav was just mentioning was decongesting of stopping the trucks. All these things are being done by the Ministry of Surface Transport of the center. Aam Aadmi Party in Delhi has not done anything. Had it been, they were very serious, they would have started the Bhavana power plant. Instead of, they should have shut down the Badarpur thermal power plant. Let me complete. Shutting down Badarpur thermal plant for 1 year and starting 1 unit of Bhavana plant would have reduced the pollution which 1 crore vehicles in Delhi will emit in 18 years. In 18 years. What have they done? What have they done to provide the green fuel to the people of Delhi? What are the administrative measures?
Very quickly, before I go to Raghav, yes.
One point that Mr. Sood also, please understand that when you have one of the biggest campaigns that you actually have today, since Mr. Modi became the Prime Minister, is Swachh Bharat. What does Swachh Bharat mean if there's no Swachh Hawa? What does Swachh Bharat mean if there's no Swachh Hawa? That is why government of India is ready with the gas. They don't want to start it because people will get... A normal citizen is not interested in looking your billboard or their billboard. No. Please understand one thing. Normal citizen is interested in the administrative measures. Yes. Normal citizen wants the results on the friends here want to understand that if they pay Swachh cess, you all pay tax in the name of Swachh Bharat. Where is that money going? Isn't also your responsibility to bring in Euro? That is why 115 new CNG stations have been established before their second phase. This is the real administrative. Can Raghav Chadha answer? Shutting down Badarpur thermal power plant for 1 year.
That is if you let Raghav Chadha answer.
He's going to answer right now. He's going to answer but you've got a litany of questions, Raghav. You have to answer them one by one, but make it quick.
I will. Yes. First of all, you see, what is really unfortunate is that we are seeing our political adversaries run a campaign against odd even. You know, one of the members of parliament made an open call to the people of Delhi to defy odd even. I mean, how obnoxious can we get? Point number 2, we have to realize, as Mr. Jha rightly pointed out, there are almost 80 respiratory deaths in Delhi. Every other house has a nebulizer, every other house has an inhaler, and these are desperate times, call for desperate measures. The government has undertaken a bouquet of measures. Now, he mentioned about buses. Certainly, there is a desperate need to augment public transport system in Delhi. We have inherited a legacy left by the Congress in which the public transport system of Delhi is essentially in shambles. If you look at other global cities like London, like New York, like Sydney, there is perfect perfect public transport system. Everybody wants to use public transport system. Therefore, the government of Delhi,
exactly.
Therefore, the government of Delhi has taken multiple. Please, sir, calm down. Let me respond. More than 3,000 buses, it was promised in this budget, will be purchased in this financial year. More than 1,500 bus queue shelters are being constructed. Metro lines are being constructed. 2 elevated BRT corridors are being constructed. Various measures have been taken. Green tax has been imposed. Non-destined vehicles are not being allowed to enter into Delhi. Construction demolition waste is being treated. Heavy fines are being imposed on burning of leaves. So plethora of measures are being taken. If the political adversaries want to become cynical and just pick up one thing and howl and shout and make a call to the people of Delhi to defy odd even, it is against the interest of people. And please understand, odd even will not benefit the Karyakartas of Aam Aadmi Party. Odd even will also benefit Prime Minister Modi, the BJP, members of BJP who live in Delhi.
Okay,
it's for the benefit of the society.
Fair enough. I quickly want to go.
Present phase is benefiting Ola and other cab operators because of their inefficiency.
Should I respond?
But they're completely up in arms against the Kejriwal Sarkar now because of the surge pricing issue.
Were they not aware that there is a surge pricing? They were sleeping. They were sleeping before implementing it.
Let me respond.
Were they sleeping before implementing it?
Sir, I will
that there is a surge pricing system prevailing by these cab operators.
Respond to that, then I go to the audience after that. Think about the questions, Raghav.
The government makes a policy level intervention which creates which enhances the demand to use public transport system. We see that certain aggregators like Ola, like Uber, take advantage of that policy intervention, create artificial scarcity and charge 5 times, 10 times, in cases 15 times the rates prescribed by the government, not their own rates prescribed by the government, the maximum
directly
rates.
charging the companies with artificially creating a
artificial
Mr. Su, let him answer. You're directly saying that Uber and Ola and other companies are making an artificial crisis.
Yes, so the government has received a number of complaints. Some complaints pertain to artificial scarcity that these companies are creating. Some complaints question the algorithm that they use to arrive at a surge. And lastly, they are primarily prima facie charging more than the prescribed rates by the government. Now, it's very simple. When an auto driver asks for 50 rupees extra, we say it's robbery, he's not complying with norms, and which is right, he must be charged. Similarly, these Uber and Ola cab drivers and these companies cannot also fleece the people of Delhi. If the mandated rate is that you cannot charge more than 20 rupees a kilometer in any case, how can you charge up to 100, 150 rupees a kilometer? This is fleecing the people of Delhi.
Okay, we'll go to the audience now. Mr. Sood, anyone has questions about odd even? Anyone raise your hands, please?
In this phase.
Yes, one person. We'll go across to the audience now very quickly. If you have any questions for anyone, what's your name?
So my name is Shivendra,
Yes.
and I have a question about odd and even, and it is that the parents and the guardians who have to take their children to school in the morning, while they are going, policemen don't ask them or they don't distract them, they don't ask any even a single question, but when the parents or guardians leave their children at the school and when they are returning, there are the obstacles put by the police that it's
Okay, so
day
you're
of
saying
even or odd.
implementation is the problem. Even though there are
as well that it's a 15-day again trial, then
I'll tell you.
it caused a problem to the parents and guardians whether they will look for other convents if it's regular.
What's your name again?
Shivendra.
So Shivendra is trying to say there are chinks right now as far as implementation goes. Anyone else with questions before we go back to our panelists? Anyone? I think you had questions before. Who had questions before? Yes, one question right here. We'll take it and then we'll go across.
Hello, sir. My name is Tejasvi. I wanted to inquire that we have seen that there have been number of fake license issued of CNG. So I was to inquire that how would you regulate that? Like already it has been issued. Moreover, it's still continued in respect to the name of odd and even. Yeah. So like it's again getting like fraud, or could say it's again getting corrupted.
Okay.
And your fight started against corruption.
I'll answer both the questions.
And your odd even is again getting involved in corruption.
Certainly acknowledge that in the first phase the schools were shut. In the second phase the schools are open. In the 15 days of odd even from 15th April to 30th April, we have around 9 working days for schools, out of which a parent might face some inconvenience in 5 or 4 days. Now, in order to ensure a smooth, carrying out of odd even in order to plug all loopholes and close all lacunas and to ensure smooth enforcement, some inconvenience would happen, and this provision is essentially mandatory. That's one. Point number two is that in the morning time, if you note, all schools open by 8 a.m. So the parents can easily ply in their cars, drop their children and come back. It's only the problem that you face in the afternoon. Now in our informal interaction with schools, we found out that mostly it's mothers who go and ply their children or pick their children. So therefore, for mothers also, they're exempt and they won't face any inconvenience. It's only fathers who in the afternoon times go and pick up their children, which is, I completely agree, is a slight inconvenience, and therefore we have requested the people of Delhi to resort to alternative arrangements like carpooling. That's one. Point number two, as far as CNG is concerned, certainly it was brought to our notice that at some cases, duplicate or fake CNG licenses stickers were issued. The government has taken cognizance. Enforcement is there. We have enhanced enforcement by 5 times as far as phase 2 is concerned vis-a-vis phase 1. So the enforcement is very much there, and this government has shown zero tolerance towards corruption. When we can sack our own sitting minister on prima facie corruption grounds, then we can certainly sack or take strictest possible action against anyone.
Proof of the CNG sticker after the show, and you allege allegations. You were the people who were shouting, your chief minister was shouting that you have 700 pages.
You are the one who is shouting
700
right now.
pages against Sheila Dikshit.
Yes.
The FIR. Where is the case?
The FIR has been filed.
Where is the case?
The anti-corruption branch. The anti-corruption branch. The anti-corruption branch.
Gentlemen, let's get back to the pollution levels. I have to start wrapping up now. I have to start wrapping up now. No, can we have a couple of seconds?
Sheila Dikshit
Why
ki
did he
tarah
snatch
niri
our
nahi
anti-corruption
hoga.
branch?
Mr. Sood.
Mr.
You have snatched us
Okay,
anti-corruption branch.
Raghav, one
The
second.
Prime Minister sends paramilitary forces to snatch our anti-corruption branch.
It is on Twitter and
clearly
YouTube.
explains his intention when
His
it comes to
chief
dealing with
minister was
corruption.
saying,
Raghav
Sheila
and
Dikshit,
Ashish, please.
as she says,
not shouting.
she is helpless.
Okay,
The
now,
Delhi ka chief
sir,
minister helpless नहीं होना चाहिए.
we're digressing now.
अब
We're
इनसे
digressing
ये भी ले
now.
लिया, वो भी ले लिया.
On that note, we'll take a short break right now. We'll return with much more on the other side. Stay tuned to News X. Welcome back. You're watching Campus Pulse and we're discussing the odd-even plan phase 2. My most important question in this particular show right now, I'm sure you'll agree with this. The odd-even Vimal started with an eye at curbing pollution. It cannot be a permanent measure. We've already come to that conclusion already. All of us agree there. Even Raghav does, even Mr. Kejriwal does. What is a permanent solution?
So we need to understand also the fact that we are talking only about Delhi, and Delhi is one of the most polluted city, but the same situation actually is in other part of the India, other part of the country as well. So we have similar situation in Patna, we have similar situation in Mumbai, we have similar situation in other parts of the country as well. So therefore, we need to actually have a pan-India air governance measure. And that's where the central government and state governments need to quickly get together and understand that it actually is it's a public emergency situation. We need to understand that where the sources of pollution also has to be known, that vehicular pollution, if only contributes towards 10 to 14%, we can't really focus all only on that. If there is still 45% of pollution is because of dust and construction waste, we need to really have some kind of a political will to really hit those people as well. But those people are richest of the rich people that we're talking about.
And that's the problem. People like that never get hit.
Yeah, so we are almost talking about 18% of pollution in Delhi is because of burning of waste. And that is with BJP that we are talking about, MCDs under BJP. And in a similar situation, we've actually seen that air quality index go down in Devnar depot in Mumbai. So unless and until there's a greater conversation, we understand that, it's very, very important for us to make in India. It's very, very important for us to stand up, start up, dance up, give up. Unless and until we as a nation understand that right to life is more important than right to convenience and right to grow, things will not change.
One more question. I'll come to the closing comment. One more question. Should the odd even continue in phases, temporary phases? Is it a good idea, first of all?
I think it works very well as awareness. It, of course, brings in some bit of change in public attitude and also in public ecology. But will it be a solution that will actually bring down AQI? No. And the governments need to realize that that cannot be their only campaign. Because right now, if you actually see 100% ads around air pollution since January to April is only about that. Which I had also seen on on DTC buses, Aam Aadmi Party put ads on, please do not burn your waste.
Yes.
Do not really do other things. So I think somewhere that kind of a thing, we need to go beyond that. People also are interested. People are not interested whether it's Aam Aadmi Party, whether it's BJP.
Yeah.
They all have right to clean air and they all are desperate.
Absolutely. Closing comments, Mr. Sood. Yes. Yes.
On your show, I'll want to end at a positive note. I'll request Raghav Chadha. For last 7 years, Mrs. Dikshit was sitting on it. For last 1.5 years, they are sitting on it. If they really want to contribute on other things, they should pass the sanitation bylaws immediately. The MCDs have given the draft of the new sanitation bylaws for 8 years. Earlier, the Congress government was sitting on it. Then only, what is the penalty on burning the garbage? What is the penalty of littering on the road? All these measures have been done, but you need a political will to pass it.
Absolutely.
So they should pass the new draft of sanitation bylaws immediately to curb the pollution.
It can't just be, absolutely. Raghav, it cannot just be centered around the odd even. I'm sure the Aam Aadmi Party government realizes that.
Athar, in my opening statements, I said that odd even is not the silver bullet solution for tackling air pollution. A host of measures need to be taken. I had the opportunity of enunciating maximum number of measures that the government has taken. So I hope that the next time when you invite us, we will discuss other measures taken by Delhi. I would appreciate my political adversaries question me on that, whether the entry of trucks has stopped or not, whether the treatment plants for treating construction demolition waste are functioning or not. I would be more than happy to answer that. That's one. Point number two, when he talks about sanitation legislation, etc., we are more than happy to pass such legislation. If he wants to contribute, he should certainly. But I would like, sir, let me, I never interrupted. Please have the patience. Please have the patience. I never interrupt you. Let's have a civilized debate. When you asked me about sanitation bill and legislation, certainly we will pass it. But I would, in the same breath, would want to say that in the last 15-16 months of my government, we have passed more than 20 legislations. The Ministry of Home Affairs under Mr. Rajnath Singh has not even cleared a single legislation. They have stalled all legislation. So I would request, while we pass legislations, please speak to your counterparts, please speak to your senior bosses and ask them to clear that. And lastly, the success of odd even is not the success of Aam Aadmi Party. It is the success of the people of Delhi. The spirit of cooperation and compliance that they are showing is tremendous, and we must compliment the people of Delhi. And lastly,
fair enough.
Lastly, in the same breath, while I see cooperation of the people of Delhi, I must also see cooperation from the BJP. BJP runs the MCD. It's in the newspapers today that they have burned a big landfill in Delhi. That is in order to, basically let go of the gains that we are accumulating of odd even and pollute the air. It is a tactical move by the BJP. I would request the BJP to not indulge in such derogatory practices and cooperate with us.
Last 1 year, you have been listening to all these things only. BJP is not letting us do that.
It's in the
Center
newspapers.
Is not letting us do that.
It's in the newspapers.
It is only a political will and administrative understanding they have to
Times
develop.
Of India and Hindustan Times are also doing political will.
Okay, I think we have to stop here
when Jagaran writes down something, you says this is not. This is a biased reporting. What is this?
Okay. I think we've gotten enough that we wanted to get out of odd even.
People who are getting advertisement from you, they may also be supporting you in that way.
Mr. Sood, we have no more time right now. Let's have a round of applause for all our guests right now.
This is a kind of
this is how we end. This is where we end. That's all the time we have for you right now. Thank you for joining us. We hope some of the questions about odd even were answered today. Those that weren't, perhaps we'll try and incorporate in our coming shows. We will, of course, monitor the odd even and other measures by the Aam Aadmi Party government or the central government to reduce air pollution in the country. Because as Vimal said right now, ultimately, it's not the AAP or the BJP or the Congress or any other party that benefits really from reducing air pollution. It is you, it is I, it is all of us. On that note, let's give a big round of applause to Raghav Chadha, Ashish Sood and Vimalendu Jha. That's all the time we have on Campus Pulse this time. We'll come back with more shows on the other side, of course. Thank you for joining us. My name is Athar Khan. Goodbye.